Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. This is Robert Eaton, EOS Status Update 8A. And as you know, the end of the week was a little bit slow, and we speeded up on Friday. Got back into as heavy development as I could do, and we left off on working on administrative privileges and user rights. And the site is intended to be a very, very large, collaborative, dynamic site. So it's important that we have a very strong foundation in user access and everything else. And it's a very complex issue, user rights management and administration. Um, it's not my forte before that I've ever done a lot of things like that. So I'm getting my hands dirty with it, and like a lot of things in Drupal. Drupal is very, very complex and has a huge amount of potential. And um, understanding how the administrative user rights management system works takes some time, it takes some careful thinking, and takes a lot of experimentation. I try to use a lot of well-developed modules from the community that were really great. A lot of smart people put them together, and just to understand their function is really, really hard. Not hard, but complicated, and requires a lot of testing, hands-on type stuff. And so that's what I've been doing. Is I've been installing them, trying to understand how they work, trying to see how they work in the scheme of how we need to use them. And form really follows function. The whole site design is intertwined into how each function works. There's a lot of things we want to do, there's a lot of things we can do, and a lot of things that have to be done uh, a certain way if we want to do a certain thing. So that's what I was doing. I was the last couple days I was trying to figure out and trying to understand them, and doing it. It's funny. I remember I had a history teacher, that Mr. Ward, in the 7th grade. He said that well, he said history. Well, he's not the only guy, right? But he taught me Western Civ, and one of the first teachers I had to talk about history repeating itself. Um, Often, but it's funny because he also taught me that umbrellas were made for a weapon. They were designed to be a weapon a long time ago, and now we use them for the rain. Well, when looking at this directory structure and setting up the charts for the administrative privileges, it seems really resemblant to the feudal system. You have to create a role and access rights for each different level, and you have to create the level. And I don't know. I'm sure it's pretty simple. Anybody draw that conclusion, but for me, it seemed like the feudal system. And as you know, the Evo campus is a good model to build the rest of the site out. Evo campus is just a part of the site. The center of the internet is going to be much, much more than the Evo campus. It's going to be very large. If you remember, go back a couple video blogs back, Evo stat updates back, and you can see it. Uh, but because I've been doing ESL the last years in China, I got a lot of information, a lot of data to work with, a lot of students. I'm using the Evo Campus ESL is something to help me model the data delivery and the user access, and to figure that out. Now, this isn't going to be like, oh well, we're not here to learn English, or maybe you are, maybe you aren't. But as soon as these features get understood, they're going to be very much easier to roll them out in all the things that are planned. It's about the structure, and the contents are going to be very, very important, but the structures and the functionality and the form following the function is very important. So using the ESL as a model, using the Evo Campus structure as a model, and the ESL is one part of that Evo Campus as a model. I I saw that it resembles a feudalism that I had to look up on Wiki last night. I had to look up on Wiki to find out, do my homework, see how much I remembered from Western Civ class, and I thought that was a cool class. 7th grade, I guess. But I was looking at so Evo Campus. We have the top directory being the Evo Campus Interest Open Directory, where it collects and catches all the updates from its children and everywhere else, and it's got all the discovery that it can have in the Open Directory, and then underneath that directory, it's got well, for instance, the ESL section being one of the parts of the ESL or the Evo Campus. So the ESL section would be underneath the Open section. So we have Open, we have ESL. I'm sorry, we're using hands here. Oh yes, when I get time, I definitely will probably need to start sharing my flowchart with you guys. But anyway, so we have the Open directory, and then we have this section of the ESL would be the ESL directory. Okay, and then underneath that we have the what type of ESL directory? Well, we're going to have it localized in the ESL directory part. We're going to have it localized in the subdirectory underneath that. Training, one section of that one child would be the training center study groups, and one of the siblings of that would be a local training centers. One of the siblings of that would be the commercial training centers. Another sibling might be elementary traditional school. Another sibling might be the open source. So we have all these siblings, children, underneath the directory of ESL, which is underneath the master directory at the entrance of the Evo Campus. And basically the master directory would be the top, and then I said, okay, well, the top will have super administrative privileges, and then underneath the top, first I thought, well, let's do a master sub. Okay, well, but that doesn't work right, because all throughout the site, this kind of structure is recreated for different areas, not just Evo Campus. For news and everything else, it'll follow that same structure. So information is pretty much delivered the same way, no matter what the topic is. So we've got basically a master, and then we have the mainer. Okay, so the master being like the little king, or his master. How ironic that we're using master as a word here. Very ironic. I'm not trying to be the dominating master. There's a master up there. Underneath the master is the mainer. Okay, so the master would be the open directory. As soon as you get into the Evo Campus door, okay, we got about 1:40. Underneath that would be the okay, so the ESL directory. Okay, so the ESL directory would be what's called a mainer. Okay, the mainer was the centers that controlled the land. Okay, the land for the king or the master was controlled by the center, and the center, that was the mainer that controlled that. Okay, all right, the mainer would have maybe baron, robber baron, administrative privileges. Okay, so they could create their children, which would be the children underneath the mainer would be the serfs. Okay, well the serfs, as you know, okay, well, the mainer was the ESL directory. The serfs would be the sections of that ESL directory. If it's commercial section, if it's local domestic section, if it's open classroom section, if it's local section, they would all be the serfs. They're not now the serfs. They have their own freedom, but they have to create something in a certain structure for the king, and the king in the structure would be the Evo Campus, but the mainer, the local master, the baron, the lord, would be the ESL section. So everything that they have to do in their own freedom is about ESL, and that's the mainer section. Okay, let's stop this because we're close enough to 10 minutes, and we'll continue with 10B. Okay.